Brought to you by DK Audio.
New Arrival at Samphire Bay by Sasha Morgan. Read by Lesley Harcourt. For my brother and sister, Paul and Claire. Chapter 1. Found it. Really? Where? Replied an excited voice.
In Lancashire, a place called Samphire Bay. A huge Art Deco house on a peninsula. It's perfect, stated the man, sounding very pleased with himself. He lifted his shades to look out onto the bay before him, then back again at the property he was discussing. A white Art Deco house built in 1939 sat high on a large piece of land that showed off the architecture perfectly. It showcased all the character features from the era, the modernist curvature of the bow windows, Art Deco motifs and parapets on the exterior. As a director, he and his location manager had been scouting for months, not only to find the ideal spot, but property too. For their new drama, Lady Scarlet Investigates. Nowhere until now had fit the bill. They needed the period house, as the drama was set in the 1920s, which had opened a few possibilities, but the locations hadn't been right. They were either too crowded, closely surrounded by other modern buildings, or in poor condition. One house had come close to their requirements, but the respective owners had proved to be a nightmare in negotiating a contract. Too many hours of discussion and planning had been poured into a deal that never went through, which had wasted valuable time and set back the production. Hence the location manager's next question. "Have you spoken to the owners?" he asked warily, ever mindful of the previous hindrance. "No need." "Why? I've just bought it," came the smug reply. Registering an interest in the house a week ago, under his real name, Adam F. Sinclair, had proved extremely advantageous. It had given him a degree of anonymity, which is exactly what he desired. As a relatively well-known actor, he went by the stage name of Felix Paschal, Felix being his second name and Pascal his French mother's maiden name. Now, after years of treading the boards in theatres up and down the country and starring in various TV series and films, Felix had decided to go into directing. He'd often envied the director's role on shoots, their ability to lead and manage. That's what he'd craved, a bit of control. Gone for him the early morning starts, unsociable hours and monotonous slog of memorising lines. Plus, there was the intrusion that acting inevitably brought, as well as the copious amount of fan mail. Not that he didn't appreciate his fans, he did, but when he couldn't leave the studios for fear of being followed, or when one or two had taken to stalking, the alarm bells started to ring. However, the biggest drawback to being a successful actor had been the complete invasion of his personal life. He had recently split up from a long-term girlfriend, supermodel Annika Jeunesse. With both of them being in the public eye, their separation had been hot news and was just about plastered over every tabloid going. For Felix, it was a bridge too far. For Annika, it was welcomed publicity. She loved to be the centre of attention and relished being the focus of the paparazzi. She could work it. Boy, could she work it, turning on the tears at the drop of a hat or a sniff of a camera. Annika had played the victim, the wronged woman to the heartbreaker Felix Paschal. It was far from the truth, they both knew it, but she wasn't going to let that get in the way of a good story. And a good story was exactly what she was spinning for all the world to see. All the media interest had evidently been fruitful for Annika, so much so her agent positively encouraged it. Several modelling contracts had appeared as a result of her very public breakup with the heartthrob actor. She had also been approached to be the face of a makeup advertising campaign, which offered a very lucrative fee. So, for Annika Jeunesse, she was the...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?